Hi, I'm Marc Cunningham with Grace Property Management and Real Estate. We're a property management company that we've been in operation in the Denver area since 1978. So we've seen a lot of up and down swings in the rental market over these years and really decades. And right now, a lot of unique and interesting things are happening in the Denver rental market. So Denver rental market is really a bifurcated market. It's downtown Denver, which is very different than the suburbs and everywhere else. So let's separate those two for just a moment and let's look at downtown Denver. And here's a couple interesting statistics that kind of lead us into what is happening right now in the market. Now, if you've been paying any attention at all for the last number of years, you know we are in a hot rental market. Properties rent fast, rents have been increasing quickly, tenants are high quality tenants. It's just a hot time to be an investor, and it's a bad time to be a renter because you're paying premiums and it's hard to find properties for rent. And here's a couple interesting statistics though that are happening right now today we need to be aware of. Keep this in mind. In the last 3 years, since 2015, downtown Denver has added 15,000 apartments in the downtown area. Now, 15,000, what does that mean? That we don't have a good feel for that. Well, 3 years, 15,000. Right now, today, 22,000 new units are under construction. That means today we're about to add more than the last 3 years of inventory that's been added. That's a big influx of new inventory available for rent. Now that's fine as long as these new residents keep moving into Denver as they have been doing. But if they slow down for any reason, that could be a scary thing. We could absolutely have an oversupply of properties. Now, are we overbuilding right now? Very possibly. Count the cranes. Count the cranes that you see in downtown Denver right now. There's a lot of new construction going up. Here's another interesting statistic. Of all of those 22,000 units coming online, 90% of those are luxury Class A apartment communities, meaning they've got the dog park and they've got the workout center and they've got the pool and they've got all the amenities that come along with it, meaning they're going to try to get top rental rates for those properties, 90%. So there is not a wide margin of A-class properties, B-class properties, C-class properties. They're almost all A-class properties going into the Denver area. Now, 3 years ago, downtown Denver had 5,500 vacant properties for rent. And that was a hot market, keep in mind. So when the market was hot, 5,500 units were still vacant. Today, we've got 16,000 vacant units. There's a lot more vacancy happening, and this is actually starting to push prices down. We're seeing vacancy rates go up. We're seeing prices go down, rental rates go down in this Denver market. Now, just the other day, this headline was on page 2 of the Wall Street Journal, just this week. Denver's fix for the luxury glut, subsidies. Now, look at that headline for a minute. Denver's fix for the luxury glut. Did you know we had a luxury glut? Statistically speaking, we do. We have a luxury glut. There's not enough people that can afford to pay the Class A prices for these rentals that have been going up with 22,000 more coming online, and there is a glut. There's an absolute glut. So what is Denver doing? Subsidizing it. There's a new plan in place that is going to be a partnership of the government as well as some nonprofits where they're actually going to be subsidizing tenants to move into Class A properties. So the idea is a tenant can't afford a Class A property, but they've got an empty Class A property sitting there anyway, so the tenant will come in, the tenant will pay a portion of the rent, and the city of Denver will also pay a portion of the rent to the owner of that apartment complex. So it kind of throws supply and demand on its head. Rather than the property having to come down in rents, the city of Denver is going to come in and subsidize Class A. This hasn't happened before, so this will present some very unique aspects of our market going forward as the city is subsidizing Class A properties that we have. Now, what about the suburbs? Suburbs are a completely different story than downtown Denver. We feel the suburbs are very well positioned for a continual run and increase in rental rates, increase in demand, and low vacancy rates. Because in the suburbs, you don't have, at least thus far, the overbuilding that we're potentially seeing in the downtown Denver area. We recommend to our investors that they, if they're going to be buyers, they look at single-family rental properties. There's strong demand, and we feel there will continue to be strong demand in the suburbs, the surrounding areas for single-family homes. So if you are an agent, what does this mean to you? Well, what it means to your buyer clients, if your buyer clients are coming to you and they're asking you what they should purchase as an investment property, we push them into single-family investment properties. We're staying away from condos, townhomes as investment properties, especially in that downtown market. Why? Because you're going to have to compete against Class A properties, number one, and now they're subsidized Class A properties. That's going to be a tough thing for investors, small-time investors, to compete against. We think it's a good time for tenants to be moving into the area because they're going to be getting some good opportunities to rent. If you've got questions on property management, we'd be pleased to be a resource for you. Grace Property Management, our website is www.rentgrace.com. We'd love to help you out if we are able to. Thank you.